College football playoff quarterfinals underway tonight. Cannot wait for it. National college football analyst Josh Pate joins us now here on First Take. Josh, which game are you most looking forward to in this round?
Weird answer because it's the game with the biggest point spread. I'm looking at Ohio State minus nearly 10 here, depending on which shop you're looking at. And yet, I don't remember in recent history, Shay, kind of situation in college football where I could reasonably make an argument the near double-digit underdog has a two-way advantage on the line of scrimmage, not a big one. No one has a big advantage over Ohio State, but O-line, D-line edge, quarterback experience edge is also in the camp of Miami, and yet not many people are giving them a shot to win the game outright. Everyone's like, they may cover, but I don't think they'll win. I'm describing myself there, by the way. So I want to see if they can get that thing into the fourth quarter and pull it out into the deep water. In other words, I want to see if they can do to Ohio State exactly what Indiana did to Ohio State.
I do wonder if the way that went down in College Station has anything to do with it. I know the weather was bad. It was a low-scoring game. What do you think?
Well, I mean, one thing I didn't like about that, they let Texas A&M go right down the field to have a chance to tie the game, and that Texas A&M quarterback killed them in the game. Josh, I would disagree with the Miami game only because Indiana, first time in a Rose Bowl since 1967. It's the granddaddy of them all. The San Andreas Mountains, 4 o'clock on New Year's Day. That's going to get the highest rating. It's Alabama, and I think an interesting role. Alabama, I don't want to hear about DeBoer. He's a great coach. The idea that Alabama's got the no pressure on Alabama. There's pressure on Indiana. They got to prove that they are the number one team in the country. Alabama not going to prove anything. They beat Oklahoma down 17-0. That was the game they had to prove something. So to me, to see how Indiana reacts in that environment against the big-time Alabama team, I think that's the most interesting thing over the weekend.
Present company included. I have a lot of Hoosiers in my life. This has been a dream season for these folks, and they have traveled. I have about a dozen friends who cut short their holiday break to make a trip to L.A. to watch this game. Alabama's been there, done that. This is a quarterfinal match that, I don't know, we'll do this next year. We did it last year. We'll do it the year before that. I don't know if any Alabama fans are packing the wagon. And I think it's the biggest moment in Indiana football ever. I got to think it's Indiana, Alabama, your blue blood football, your blue blood basketball, but now suddenly we're switching roles, and I can't wait to see it. Let's see if Mendoza can get this thing done.
I can't wait either. It did feel like when Indiana won the Big Ten championship, though, that was the game where I felt like there was so much pressure, and so now they've overcome that. You have a Heisman winner, a lot to see. We're still looking forward to this. All right, here's the next one. Which quarterback stock do we think will be impacted the most in the quarterfinal? No doubt we're going to hear a couple of these guys' names called in April. Josh, what do you think?
That's where you just got to pull out the red Sharpie. You circle the Rose Bowl. You circle the same game that both of these gentlemen just mentioned, because that's where Ty Simpson really has an opportunity to reinsert his name into the same conversation as Fernando Mendoza, as Dante Moore. Mock draft community has him down at the bottom of the first round right now. The aforementioned two near the top of the first round. And I'm really interested because I think the lasting image people have in their minds is the Georgia game, where Alabama could do nothing offensively. I actually ended up picking Bama to win this game outright in the Rose Bowl because I think you're going to see a little different version of them. I think they're as healthy as they've been since the second scrimmage of fall camp, which is sort of atypical to say about teams at the end of the year. Normally it's a war of attrition, but he's got a healthy center. Their tight end's really integral, as are their tailbacks in his passing game. So if he has a full arsenal of weapons, they're not going to run the ball very well. They don't, which just puts more spotlight on Ty Simpson against the defense in Indiana that's throttled down virtually everyone. They've already faced Julian Sayin. They already faced Dante Moore. Those guys didn't do a whole lot against him. If Ty Simpson is the reason Alabama wins, I think you sort of re-engineer that draft conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Josh, I'm going to say more of Oregon. He had a very good game against Penn State, but Penn State stinks, so I can't get that game he put away. Bad again. He wasn't great against Indiana. He's got to go out there here and against a very good defense. His draft stock, we'll see what happens if he wants to go back to school. We don't quite know what he's going to do there yet either. I think this is an important game for him because I think he is the better player at the position than Texas Tech's quarterback, so he could be the difference. And if he lays an egg, I'm going to lose, wow, really? Simpson's done enough good things all year. Mendoza won a Heisman. Beck played at Georgia. The kid's a freshman at Ohio State. Moore is a guy that, if he has a big game here, he could be the, top 5 pick in the NFL draft against a very good defense a long way from home. So I'm interested to see what he does.
I like to get after the quarterback,
You mentioned the laying of an egg. I look at Mendoza. We are loving the story, and I think right now he's the projected #1 overall pick on most of these boards. But there is a question of, all right, spotlight city like New York, if the Jets move up or if the Giants have that #1 pick, or Vegas, all right, all eyes on you. How are you going to perform? Now, you might say, oh, relax. He's done it all season. To your point, Ohio State, Indiana, the loser, all right, the loser's a #2 seed in the playoff. Like, we're going to be okay. Against Penn State, yeah, a great drive, but this wasn't exactly the all-time world beaters, Alabama from Nick Saban year. So Mendoza, big spotlight. This kid can play. Everyone in the NFL community I talk to likes what he's about, his makeup and all that. Don't lose 30-0 and have a 3-interception game where you look like you didn't belong. Big spot for him, biggest game of his career.
I think also just from the neck up standpoint, like I think a lot of people have heard Fernando Mendoza. Like they've become a lot more accustomed to him. What Mad Dog said about Dante Moore is probably as spot on outside of, like my answer was Ty Simpson, but outside of Ty Simpson, he's the one that there's the most to learn about. And you saw him get his shot against Indiana, and they threw a couple of picks in that game. And so he's going to get a shot against Texas Tech here. And if he shines, that's one thing. And then if they win, that also means they advance, and he's getting other shots. And so you could just get like repeatedly upside your head these lasting impressions down the stretch of Dante Moore. I think he's the highest ceiling guy, by the way, physically, in terms of any of the guys we're mentioning.
Back to Mendoza for a second, Josh. You know, he reminds me a little bit. I was thinking about this the other day, and maybe I got to see a little more of him. He reminds me a little bit of Kirk Cousins. He got a good arm. He's big. He doesn't move that well.
Personality-wise, he is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, there's another example.
Yeah.
So I see a little Kirk Cousins in Mendoza.
There's
is that
an earnestness that is very evident on both.
Okay, so am I right on that? I'm even talking about a football standpoint, ability-wise. But do I have a right read on that at all or not? Let me hear.
So I would mention the exact same name you just did. And I would also say, let's just be real now. If you're playing quarterback right now and any kind of streaming platform is offering you behind-the-scenes access to a guy currently playing your position at the next level, you're probably ingesting everything you can. And so, like, if I'm growing up in sports media in New York and I'm aspiring to do that and I'm listening to you on talk radio, I'm probably emulating you early in my career. Well, these guys are probably watching Kirk Cousins right now, what he's doing, and saying, if I think my game even loosely models after his, I'm gonna take in everything that guy's doing. I'm ingesting everything that guy's doing. So it doesn't really surprise me from mechanics to personality that you're starting to see that a little bit, because I think the reason for the influence is obvious.
One quick note also, what helps Mendoza here, the success of Bo Nix, who was 26 years old and played in 60 college games, the success of Tyler Shuck, who was everywhere and anywhere as a college player this year. The seasoned college quarterback is now going to be the in vogue thing, as opposed to the give me the raw product. And I'm not saying Dante Moore is raw by any means, but all the years at Cal and all the games at Indiana, Mendoza's going to have a lot going for him, because the last two great rookie quarterbacks that had that both played well in year one.
And Richardson was the raw quarterback who did nothing for the Colts. Just good point.
Yeah.
Very good.